Welcome back, Go Gunners family. Inside the mentality shift that is redefining the Gunners' identity. Introduction: Why Arsenal are no longer almost team. For years, Arsenal carried a label that haunted the club like a shadow. Nearly men, nearly champions, nearly consistent, nearly elite, nearly feared. It was a reputation built not on failure alone, but on promise that never fully matured. But something has changed. Not overnight, not through one signing, not because of a lucky run of fixtures. Arsenal's transformation is deeper, more uncomfortable, and far more powerful. It is a cultural reset, one that has altered how players think, how opponents prepare, and how fans believe. This article explores what Arsenal are becoming, not through transfer headlines, but through mentality, tactics, leadership, pressure handling, youth evolution, fan power, and the psychological edge that is slowly returning to the Emirates Stadium. This is the Arsenal update that does not expire. 1. The Emirates is no longer quiet, it is demanding. There was a time when the Emirates Stadium was mocked as a library. Visiting teams felt comfortable. Big matches felt tense rather than hostile. Arsenal fans hoped more than they believed. That atmosphere has changed completely. Now, the Emirates demands intensity. Mistakes are not tolerated, but neither is fear. When Arsenal concede, the stadium responds, not with silence, but with defiance. When Arsenal press, the crowd rises. When a tackle is made, the noise follows. This is not accidental. The club has intentionally rebuilt the emotional contract between team and supporters. Arsenal fans no longer wait for perfection. They demand effort, bravery, and belief. That emotional unity has become one of Arsenal's strongest weapons. Opponents feel it. Players talk about it. Referees sense it. The Emirates is no longer a neutral venue. It is an arena of expectation. 2. Arsenal's tactical identity. Control without fear. Arsenal's football today is not about possession for possession's sake. It is about control with aggression. A. Controlled chaos in the final third. Arsenal attack with structure, but finish with freedom. The build-up is rehearsed. The final action is instinctive. Players are encouraged to improvise, but only after the platform has been built. This balance between discipline and creativity is what separates Arsenal from teams that collapse under pressure. B. Defensive intelligence, not just defending. Arsenal defend before the ball reaches the box. Triggers are clear. Pressing is synchronized. Recovery runs are automatic. The defensive system is not built on fear of conceding. It is built on confidence in regaining control. That confidence allows Arsenal to commit numbers forward without panic. 3. Mental toughness, Arsenal's biggest evolution. The most important improvement at Arsenal cannot be measured by goals or points. It is mental resilience. A. Arsenal no longer collapse after setbacks. Previously, conceding first felt fatal. Heads dropped, shape disappeared, panic replaced patience. Now, Arsenal respond. They slow the game when needed. They accelerate when required. They show emotional intelligence, a trait of mature teams. B. Big games are no longer psychological traps. Arsenal no longer approach big matches hoping to survive. They approach them expecting to impose themselves. This shift is subtle but massive. It changes how players warm up, how they tackle, how they pass under pressure. Belief is no longer borrowed. It is internal. 4. Leadership without ego. One of the quiet revolutions at Arsenal has been the redefinition of leadership. There is no single dominant voice screaming instructions. Leadership is shared. Leadership through work rate, leadership through positioning, leadership through calmness, leadership through example. This collective responsibility has removed the fear of failure. When everyone leads, no one hides. Young players develop faster in this environment because they are trusted, not protected. 5. Youth evolution, Arsenal's identity reclaimed. Arsenal have always been associated with youth, but for a long time, youth felt like an excuse rather than a weapon. That is no longer the case. A. Young players are not carried, they contribute. Young players at Arsenal are not passengers. They are match winners, tempo setters, game changers. They are coached to understand space, not just technique. B. Experience and youth are balanced correctly. Young players are no longer overburdened with responsibility. Experience supports them. Structure guides them. This balance is why Arsenal's youth looks fearless rather than fragile. 6. Training ground culture. Intensity without toxicity. One of the reasons Arsenal struggled in the past was inconsistency in standards. That has changed. Training sessions are intense, competitive, and mentally demanding, but they are not toxic. Mistakes are corrected, not punished emotionally. This environment builds players who take responsibility rather than fear criticism. 7. Arsenal's game management, the missing piece found. Elite teams know when to slow the game, kill momentum, draw fouls, keep the ball without risk. Arsenal have learned this art. They are no longer naive when leading. They no longer chase unnecessary goals at the expense of control. This maturity is what separates contenders from champions. 8. The psychological edge of our rivals. Rivals now prepare differently for Arsenal. They no longer see Arsenal as unpredictable but soft. They see a team that presses relentlessly, controls tempo, punishes mistakes, maintains structure under pressure. That respect alone changes games before kickoff. 9. Arsenal fans from hope to expectation. The biggest change may be among supporters. Arsenal fans no longer ask, "Can we?" They ask, "Why not us?" This expectation is healthy. It creates pressure but also purpose. It demands excellence while rewarding effort.